Jordan, so I've heard yourself describe yourself as a dog, and I've also heard a lot of people say that you're the nicest person in the world. I think a lot of people right now are about to find out that that is actually true.
I hope so. I mean, my parents raised me to be nice to everybody, so I try and treat everyone how I want to be treated. I try and be good to people, and when you're in a competitive environment, things change. So it's all about doing what it takes to win and getting where you need to get.
All right, so you mentioned your parents. You grew up in a baseball town. You had two brothers. What was it like growing up in your house? And I know your mom made a mean chicken and rice growing up too that you loved. But what was the Montgomery household like?
Pretty wild. I mean, 3 boys, 4 years in between all of us. So 8 years in between me and my oldest brother, and then 4 between my middle brother and then me. So just kind of a lot of roughhousing, a lot of getting yelled at, told to fight in the yard. And we ended up going out there and just fighting, and football, baseball. I mean, everything. I grew up playing football with my middle brother and his high school friends. So we'd go play tackle football out at the football field. I would usually be all-time QB and just play defense. So that's where I learned how to tackle. I was tackling kids way bigger than me. Hit ground balls to me in the front yard until I got 50 in a row. I mean, it was crazy, but it was good. It worked out. They were hard on me, and just like I feel like anyone that has brothers would understand.
Yeah. Well, my brother studied a lot, so he was an outsider with me as much, but I think you described it pretty well. But dude, and even the free throws too. They had you shooting free throws until you made like 50 in a row also.
Yeah. Backyard. We had a dirt court with a chain net. So I love the sound of a chain net swoosh.
Dude, yeah. Especially when the ball's like a little wet too. Like that kind of like that moisture.
Yes. No, we would set it up. We had a big tractor light or something. I don't even know. It wasn't a tractor light, but it was like a big field light. We would set it up at like 12:30 at night, and we'd be playing 21 out there all night. It was so much fun. I'll never forget that. We'd play barefoot too, so my feet would just be filthy.
Who would usually win? And guys, Jordan, as you all probably know, he's a lefty on the mound, but he shoots basketball with his right hand. So, but yeah, who would usually win?
Once it got to a certain age, I would win every time. Probably once it was never easy, and they just started fouling the crap out of me. Probably after freshman year, once I kind of started like just stretching and getting super tall, they couldn't guard me anymore, and I had to play defense. I wasn't allowed to be the guy that's sitting back waiting for the tip or anything if they missed. So they had me running and working. I was always having to play defense and earn it.
There you go. That's right. I've heard you say before in an interview that it was kind of that eat or get eaten or something like that mentality between the two of you. Because like you said, there's a 4-year difference between each of you, an 8-year between you and the oldest. So it was you just had that competition between the three of you.
Yeah, nah, each brother's different. So my oldest brother is a shooter, and my middle brother is kind of just like athletic. He's a lefty. He's got a lefty post move, kind of just. So I learned my lefty post move from him. I've got a righty post move. I shoot righty. So I kind of learned everything from them, but I ended up just getting too big and too long for him.
Was it because you're eating too much chicken and rice that was helping you grow a little bit?
It was the tater tots for sure.
Dude, those are good, man. You can't even make them. That's like the one food that you need to buy frozen and put in the oven.
Oh, they're so much better frozen. You just freeze them, throw them in the oven, and they're good every time.
Have you tried making them yourself?
Oh yeah. I mean, not anymore now that I'm a professional athlete and have to eat salads and stuff, but I would love to eat tater tots every day growing up.
I want to try to make them. I usually make French fries. They call them Stucko frites. I'm sure you've probably seen on the IG stories, but dude, Stucco tater tots? Are you kidding me? We might actually have to open up a like some sort of French fry restaurant, and we could get all the potatoes from down south, because I know you worked on a farm growing up too, from what, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.?
Yeah. It was, and maybe even earlier than 7. Sometimes we had to be out there early, but going straight from there to summer ball baseball.
So you kind of hinted at it before that there might have been you said it was a yard lamp, but could have been a tractor light, and you were playing in the backyard on a dirt road, and then you're barefoot. So and the chain link fence, all these things, like it was like kind of very like southern between that and working on a farm.
I mean, yeah, I'm from a small town in Sumter, South Carolina, so it, definitely, I mean, my dad was a farmer, so we, worked on his old farm that I guess he used to work on. My granddad had 1,300 acres, and,
What?
once Hugo came, I think they sold most of it. The hurricane came through and kind of wrecked it. All the horses got loose and stuff. But he still had a decent amount of land. We were out there cutting it and cutting trees down and burning trees and uprooting trunks. I mean, he had us doing all kinds of stuff.
Dude, that's insane. That's so many acres, and I'm glad that everything's all right now with your family and the land down there too. But like, what were some of the things that like that you would pick? Or I know you used to throw pears at your brothers and stuff like that, but like, what were some of the things that you were picking out there, and then would later on either eat or sell? What were you doing?
He didn't have all 1,300 when I was working it, but we were getting paid to basically just goof off. Me and my middle brother would go out there and, like you said, he had a pear tree. We would be throwing pears at each other and chasing each other on the tractors. And what we were just in the heat, just being boys and having a blast. But it definitely taught me kind of having to show up early, get the work done. I mean, we had certain stuff we had to get done, but we definitely dragged it out.
What was a regular day like? Because I've talked about this with, say, Brennan Davis. He had a ton of animals growing up, so he learned a lot about responsibility, having to take care of somebody else, prioritizing, time management, all that other stuff. So, what were some of the lessons that you got just out of doing that, working on the farm? Because, like, dude, not every kid is waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go out there, mow the lawn, pick stuff, and then around 2, 3 o'clock, go play baseball.
I mean, it's taught you a job. I mean, really, just show up, do your job. I mean, my grandfather would tell us kind of what he wanted us to get done, and we would get it done. And then I would just kind of take a nap at lunch, and that would get me through baseball practice. But baseball practice was brutal too. We had to wear long sleeves in the summer to get used to the heat and stuff. So I don't think they do that anymore. But our coach, he had us. We were never going to complain about the heat. That's for sure.
So is there any part of you when you're playing baseball now, and not to jump ahead because we're going to stay here, but I'm not even gonna lie, this thought crosses my mind maybe once every homestand where I'm standing like on the field. I'm thinking about how crazy it is as Miles is in the background screaming from the other room. I don't know if you can hear him, but I'm thinking about how crazy life is. And then I'm like, man, it must just be so nice just to be a farmer. You know, like does having experienced it, does that thought ever cross your mind? Or like, is all that stuff like far away behind you, you know?
I do not envy farmers. That is hard work.
That's how you know you spent a lot of hours out there.
Yes, what we were doing was hard, and we were just goofing off. And I mean, we were getting stuff done, but we weren't in any rush to get it done. Or like, I don't know. It's a hard living being out in the sun that long, and it's all manual labor. You got to be strong. You got to be have endurance. It's tough.
All right, so basically, I have to come up with a different plan B.
Yeah, I would not anything but that.
Well, like you said, it got you strong and everything. And you mentioned this before. You played some football. You played O line. You even played basketball a little bit too.
Yeah,
So you get to high school. You tried playing basketball at one point in high school because there was a trip that the team was making to Hawaii.
yeah. We were like, all right, they're going to Hawaii. They're going to win state this year. Let's see if we can make the team and be some guys that come off the bench. And we made the team. We did the whole like summer tryouts, practiced every day in the morning before we went to baseball practice. And we were the two sweatiest people on the court every time. It was miserable. Basketball shape is so far off from baseball shape. We were just doing full court, like practicing full court pressing, and I was already exhausted, and we hadn't even even thought about practice or conditioning afterwards. But yeah, we made the team, and eventually I got hurt that summer playing baseball. I tore my LCL, and so I was like, I'm not playing. So my friend backed out too.
That's a good friend right there. And weren't there dudes who went to go play on in like Georgetown or like actual really good basketball schools too that were on that team?
Yeah, we had two 7-footers. One of them's name I'm blanking was Brandon something. He went to Georgetown and he ended up transferring out. We had a freshman that had all kinds of offers, and then eventually he like transferred schools and lost his eligibility because he transferred to a school that was in our district or whatever, and he was trying to follow his travel ball coach to get with him, and it just kind of became a mess where he missed out on like almost a year and a half of his junior and senior year. But they ended up losing in lower state, I think. But they were a really talented team.
So are you technically on the roster then? Like if you look back in like the yearbook, are you in the team picture?
No, I literally was
Ah,
only there for
man.
the summer. I never, once school started, I didn't even do a single day. I was in a cast for a long time my junior year. I think I was back for baseball season, but it was miserable.
Damn, that sucks. But hey, it seems like everything worked out because you stopped playing basketball, you stopped playing football,
I needed to focus in on getting a job in college anyway, so it worked out. But I do love basketball.
and doing one thing. Which baseball, dude, you started getting calls. I was watching oldest interviews from you in high school. I went down like the darkest rabbit hole, probably darker than like is Tupac still alive, just doing as much research as possible. And one of them, you said that South Carolina, University of South Carolina, started calling you 3 times during your sophomore year in high school. So this is right before the basketball stuff, but like you were on these schools' maps for a nice amount of time in high school, while also at the same time, there were people out there who were telling you that you weren't good enough or that you had to like work on this or work on that. So your ability to have the horse blinders on at such a young age, it's impressive because a lot of people, if they hear their name being brought up or getting shit talked or something like that, a lot of times maybe they're going to take a step back and decide not to play or not to go after something, but you didn't let people stop you from going after what you love, and you got the attention from a place that you eventually ended up. So like for you as a young kid, because you are so humble, how did you kind of like navigate those negative sayings that you heard that were going around?
Um, I don't know. I got pretty tough skin, so I always kind of just took it as like criticism, I guess. Just kind of knew kind of where what to work on. I mean, like me and my brothers always helped me. I was lucky to have great coaching coming through high school and college, and I mean, I've always had great coaches surrounding me or great veterans surrounding me. So I've always had kind of someone telling me something I can learn, and I've always kind of critiqued what I do and what I can do better kind of my whole life, I guess. So kind of just been trying to get better and better and kind of more refined every year and pick out a weakness that I can get a little better.
And your ability to be able to do that at such a young age, like not everybody has that, you know? So for those who are going through that, or maybe for somebody who's at the beginning of their journey, regardless if it's baseball or anything else, because this relates to everybody, like what would you say to them if they're trying to go after their goal?
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. So if you're like critiquing what you've got to do to get to your end goal, just kind of what can I do better to get me there? And then you start doing that. And then once you get better at that, you do something else. And then you just kind of stay focused on the end goal.
Love it. Yeah, because like, dude, because if you didn't do that, who knows what would have happened? Again, you could have stopped playing, and that would have been the third sport that you stopped playing. Then who knows what would happen
I'd be
after
playing
that?
wiffle ball right now or some pickup basketball.
In Connecticut with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now you have South Carolina calling you, right? And that wasn't even the first official visit that you went on. The first school that you went to, which if anybody out there, if you go to look at a college, you probably remember the first college that you went to. Mine was Ithaca. I went up there. It was like a warm summer month, but it was snowing. I'm like, dude, this is so cold. This sucks. It's in the middle of nowhere. This feels like a bad dream. I never want to go back. But you had a similar experience, but like it actually kind of sounded like it's all year round there what you experienced. But just go a little bit into that with what you experienced during your first college visit in high school, because it's obviously not the school that you ended up with at.
Have I ever told you the story before?
I've heard it once, and it is
Okay. A wild one.
yeah.
So my first official visit was to Citadel, which is a military college. So there's this thing in South Carolina called Boy State that like certain amount of students they go. It used to be they go to Citadel and they would have to stay in the bunkers there and stuff. And it was super serious. I remember dropping off my oldest brother Jay there, and my mom crying the whole way home because like they get treated like they're knobs, which is freshmen at Citadel. So like I think they get treated pretty bad there. It's not there. It's at Presbyterian College now, which is it's much nicer. But that's all I knew about. I knew Citadel was like a military school. You didn't really get to leave much. You had to shave your head. Like there's all these rules. It was tough. And so we go there, and they offered me the biggest scholarship I got from any school. And the coaches are showing us around. We're going in. One of my summer ball teammates went to Citadel, and then he came back his freshman year and played summer ball with us. He was age was lined up to where he could do it. Anyway, he was like one of my, I guess, mentors, like one of the first people that showed me how to like really work. And he was a lefty, so they kind of paired me up with him to show me how it went on the summer. So I'd always work out with him. So I knew a little bit about Citadel. We roll up. It's in Charleston, which is beautiful, but you don't really get to see much because you're in military college. And my mom is like hating it. We end up going to one of their games, and they get in a bench clearing brawl. And the first guy out there is one of their coaches. He's like the whole person that calls. I'm like, what is going on? I'm a junior in high school, and like this coach literally just went and got a player's face, and like there's a brawl going on my official visit. What's going on? Anyway, we left there. My mom left crying. Like I would have gone to JUCO before I went there. It was wild, but it's been great. I've been working out there at Citadel for my first 2 years. I was living in Charleston. We worked out there because a bunch of my friends went there. So full circle, I ended up going back there and spending a little bit of time on Citadel campus, but it wasn't the school for me. I'll never forget.
Didn't you have to like shave your head too or something? Like, wasn't there like strict restrictions?
Yeah, shaved your head. You were like allowed like a day over Christmas break to go home. No thing, like there's very little time to go home when you're a freshman, especially. You can really barely leave campus as a freshman. Like there's all kinds of, it's easier as an athlete to go. I don't actually know anything because I never went, but from my friends that went there, being an athlete helped, but it's still tough.
No, it sure as hell sounds like it. And it's funny because you decided to not go there, obviously, and then you go to University of South Carolina, and ironically enough, your high school was the Gamecocks, and now you're playing for the Gamecocks in college. And then you think that you're escaping that potentially bad situation, and you go into a great program, which ironically had the 9 innings of hell, where you'd have the dude, it's like you can't catch a break, but it's all good stuff. This time around, it's good because this is like a crazy training program that you had while with the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I still can't believe they did that. Like they literally would let you go home for like Christmas break and then get you back and be like, all right, well, you're about to pay for it. It was after Thanksgiving break, right before Christmas break. So you would leave, go home for Thanksgiving for like a week and a half or whatever, and then come back to college and just pay for it. It was brutal.
And like the flannel Fridays or whatever.
Yeah, we that was my junior year. We started having a little more fun. I don't know. We just kind of took over. We did all kinds of stuff.
What's like one of the workouts or one of the days from 9 innings of hell that you could share with us that like somebody, if you're unfamiliar with it, will picture that workout times 9?
There's two that come to mind. So we would go to the football field, Williams-Brice Stadium, and if you've ever seen it on TV, there's the student section, and then to the left, there's like a big spiral thing that people are always standing on and like watching. So we would have to run up that, over, and then go down the other side, and then run around, and then do that again. I think it was like 4 times. It was a mile or something. It was crazy. And then there was a staircase, and these are like super steep stairs, and it's all the way up. We had to carry a sandbag up them, and they split us up into teams. So like we had to race, and like everyone had to go up and down at some point with carrying this. Can't remember how heavy it was, but so those two stunk. And then we would have to go to the bubble, which is the indoor football. complex. It's old. It's where like tennis would practice and track would run and stuff. It's right over there near the soccer fields. And we would do it was like probably 60 yards of turf in there. And so we would do like farmers carries and duck walks, like 50-yard duck walks there and back. And then we would do like suicides, like 50 yards down, back, down, back. I mean, it was just stuff to try and make college kids puke, basically.
Dude, yeah, your legs probably still hurt from those days.
Yeah, thinking about the duck walks, I couldn't do that right now. That's not happening.
And of course, the stairs were steep. They weren't just like normal stairs. We had those at Quinnipiac too inside the stadium, and we would do these stadiums, and like some of the stairs would be like super short. And you're like, what is going on? These aren't normal steps. And of course, like you said, you have like a huge like bag over your shoulders
Yeah.
too. That just like adds to it.
None of that made me a better baseball player, but maybe it made me a little tougher. I don't know.
Or I went to high school along the Jersey Shore, is Christian Brothers Academy. So we always won states in baseball, but the head coach was super old school, and he always used to have us run a ton. So when his son took over practice one day, he had us like warm up with one lap, and he was like, "All right, that's it for the running. Like no more running after this. Like my dad thinks that this is a goddamn track team, but this is a baseball team. We're taking grounders."
You're like, finally, yeah.
But some of these coaches, they just have that old school way where it's just like, all right, I'm gonna run these kids into the ground, or like you said, like until they puke. Which, yeah, God. But the time that you had at South Carolina, what I love about this is that so the first time in high school, it's like you're to this, you're to that, you're to this, and you still stuck to your goal. You still keep swinging, right? And then in college, it was like you were sometimes getting tabbed like a lefty specialist, where it's just like, nah, dude, like I'm not a lefty specialist, but you're not going to go out and say that publicly because you're a humble guy, you're a hard worker, but you have people trying to label you, which you didn't let people label you, which is one of the other things that is just awesome about who you are as a person and as a professional athlete.
Yeah. I can still remember that. In high school, you're looking at what rank you are, like which lefties are ahead of you in state and all that. And I used to be big. It was called Diamond Prospects. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but they would rank categories like infield, left-handed pitchers, and I was like third or something. And that grinded my gears because we won state my senior year, and I mean we didn't lose to anybody barely. We were a pretty good high school team, and leaving there, it just kind of I needed that. I think I needed. Maybe without that article being written about me being a lefty specialist, like I don't know, I would have still worked hard, but like it just really fired me up.
Yeah, so it's almost like along the way you have these experiences that just kind of like add fuel to your fire. Anything that you do in life, anytime somebody tries to label somebody else, especially if that person's in a position of power, it's just like, who are you to say what I am or who I am or what I represent? Because at the end of the day, that's not the case. You know what I mean? And for you, I'm sure now looking back, because you're starting in the big leagues, you're not a lefty specialist, you're not coming out the bullpen. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure now it's like you get the last laugh, and you're almost kind of like happy that you didn't make a huge like stink about it at the time in college because you didn't have to. You just let your actions speak for your words.
Yeah, I mean, I would never make a stink about it. You know me. I would hate any kind of confrontation. I don't want any kind of attention. Like I'm just gonna outwork everybody and have my opportunities. And there's this quote. Pretty sure Deion Sanders said it. It's like, how are you gonna tell me what I can't do when you can't do what I can do? And the way he says it, and it's just his swagger, and it's like, I don't know, that really sticks with me. I still think about that. That was one of my main things in like my hype video. I don't know. I think the Lord put different things in my life to kind of fire me up and get me where He wanted me to be. So it all worked out how it was supposed to.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. This was I don't even know how many hours into like just research and just brushing up on everything. There was the highlights from 2022. You're on the Cardinals and like you're wearing the baby blue. It just looks so cool, dude. Just you have so much swag in that, right? And then I noticed that kind of like extra oomph, like almost like that Deion Sanders kind of like feel where like it's not like a cockiness, but it's almost like a like feeling yourself slash in the zone slash I just threw a 95 mile per hour heater right down the middle. The dude just stared at it, blew right by him, strike three. Like it kind of had that feel where when I'm on the couch watching, I'm like, dude, let's go, baby. Like it already happened. I know it happens. Like it's a highlight reel. It's not like you're going to be giving up home runs in it, but like it just had that effect. So it's so crazy that you say Deion Sanders because that's similar to how I felt while watching it. And if anybody at home goes and watches those highlights too, they'll probably feel the same exact way. So you do kind of have that. It's a quiet confidence, which is what Aaron Judge had described you as. You have that quiet confidence on the mound. So did that start in like high school or college, or was that not later till your playing days in pro ball?
I don't know. I've always had coaches tell me to always be in control on the mound. My high school coach harped on like kind of just always never letting the game speed up on you, always knowing what you're trying to do, what's the next pitch. Kind of, I mean, he's my guy. So he's taught me a ton. He taught me how to pitch. He taught me basically everything I know about baseball. But then I got to college and I was lucky enough to have Jerry Myers as my pitching coach. And when I tell you his main focus for every pitcher was he's going to be mentally strong. He's going to be like never show emotion. Like it's so hard for me to scream or do anything on the mound. It's got to be huge. Like he don't want you to show any emotion out there. Just there's no kinks in your armor, no walking guys. I mean, the amount of times he said no free 90s or like we ran if you walked more than two people a game. Like I got really lucky to
Walks
have,
equals pulls.
yeah, no, absolutely. If you walk a guy with two outs, used to be for South Carolina program, you were in big trouble. So no free 90s with two out walk guys always score. They always do somehow.
Well, dude, all your hard work, it all paid off because in 2014 you got drafted in the fourth round by the Yankees. And dude, this is pretty nuts when I was like just like researching everybody who had gotten drafted by the Yankees in terms of lefty pitchers. Is that, and I'm sure you probably know this, but outside of Andy Pettit, there's only like a couple of players. Like I think like Eric Milton, and I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody who's listening to this and you're a lefty with the Yankees who got drafted, but dude, you are like next to Andy Pettit, arguably the best lefty pitcher that the Yankees have drafted in their entire history. So all your hard work pays off, and then that's a dude that you end up getting a chance to communicate with and talk with and learn from, and another lefty like CC Sabathia. So it's like, yeah, I love that because it's like somebody again at one point tried tapping you lefty specialist, and now you're like one of the best left-handed pitchers against any batter in Yankees history that got drafted.
I wouldn't say that. That's pretty high praise there, but
Yeah,
um
well, that's what this is all about. Just pumping tires left and right, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
hey, I
Make you
appreciate a
look
hype
good. You
man.
got it, baby.
It was definitely cool getting to meet Andy. Kind of seeing the person he is. He still texts me and checks in on me, and I don't know. CC will always be my guy. I mean, just getting to be teammates with CC for so as long as I got to be, sit on the bench with him. That was a real blessing, and just still being friends with him, keeping in contact, and I don't know. It's just cool having those. I got some jerseys from him, and I'll have those in my house and hang them up, and just two great people I got to meet along the way.
Yeah, and like you said, you're all about getting better. That's what this podcast is about, and just getting better, and that's what you continue to do because you eventually made your big league debut in 2017. I know it was a no decision, but you eventually got your first win. So how awesome was that for you? Just a young dude from a baseball town in South Carolina, eventually making your big league debut with the New York Yankees, and it doesn't get any better than that with all the obstacles and adversity that you have to go through.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I was coming off of a really good year in 2016. Right when I got drafted, me and my oldest brother kind of came up with like a timeline that we wanted to work with. Like we knew I wasn't going to be in the big leagues in 2015 after getting drafted in 14, but we kind of just made it a goal to every year go to a different team, like move up the ranks in the minor league system. And 2016, I was cruising in AAA, and I was kind of zeroed in on I really wanted to get called up that September, and it didn't happen. So that off season, I was like, all right, it's happening this year, and I got to spring training and kind of was the dark horse in the rotation spot that they had open. And like I said, I just kind of had my goal in mind and worked, and the opportunity presented itself. So, I mean, that's back to your question about someone wanting to get to their goal or whatever. Is just kind of outworking anyone will never not get you an opportunity. I mean, you work hard enough, is eventually going to get noticed, and you just stay focused on the grind.
Dude, yeah, and that goes for anything in life, and you did it again, like, so
Yeah,
quietly. You had
anything
that
in life.
quiet confidence.
Yeah, you put the work in, something good will happen eventually.
Yep, and it's almost like one of those things where, like, we all know those people who are really good at something and kinda acknowledge that they're really good at something, and you're like, "Ah, you're kinda like a cocky asshole," or something like that, but then in the end, it always works out in your favor, like, you being the humble person, you don't have to call that person out and be like, "Oh, that's a cocky bastard," or whatever. It's just like,
Oh
no
yeah,
matter
I
what,
mean,
like, in the end, it's like you win in the end, and that person at some point comes to a halt.
yeah. Well, you just catch up to them. I mean, I've never been the best. I've never been the best player wherever I'm at, but I always outwork them, and they kind of stay stagnant, and I just eventually get better than them. I mean, um, like I said, I wasn't the best pitcher coming out of high school by any means. I mean, I think uh, the assistant coach at South Carolina that recruited me, Coach Holbrook, Chad Holbrook, told me a story saying basically like all the other coaches around the state. There's a couple smaller schools like Winthrop and Wofford, and these guys are like, you're really giving Montgomery a scholarship. Like we didn't see him as like a major D1 program guy. We thought he'd be like a D2 or like a smaller school kind of guy. And Holbrook was like, yeah, we did. Just wait. And eventually I was on the weekend rotation the very next year or whatever. And he told me that story, and it kind of just like, I don't know. It's like their fault for doubting me, I guess.
Dude, I love hearing that because it's like you have the receipts, and then it's something that you could always go into your back pocket at any point that you're feeling down or you have doubts about something. You just kind of remember those instances that you could like really kind of just like dig deep and power through whatever you're currently going through. And if somebody's listening to this and they're dealing with something similar, well, just remember if somebody doubted you at some point, don't let that distract you or throw you off the beaten path. Just keep on going.
Look who it is.
Yeah. Beautiful golden retriever, man. For everybody listening to this on audio, we got Kentucky in the house, baby. What's up, Tuck? Is he going for runs with you? Is he keeping you healthy or vice versa?
Yeah, we run on the beach every morning now. He's a good running partner. So he was 100 pounds. He's always been a big dog, but we just wanted him to be a little healthier. So
You
he's
got him down to
perfectly healthy for us
15.
now.
Dude, well, I just got the chills because get this. In like my rundown of like notes and research that I never like to revert to while we do this, the next thing that I actually had was Tommy John in 2018 when you had it and like when you got Tuck. So like he came in at the perfect time during this interview
Oh, this is yeah.
because he is who I want to talk about. Tommy John, one of the craziest things that you could go through as a professional athlete or anybody who gets that surgery. Tuck came into your life at that point. This dude helped keep you company, became your best friend, you and Mackenzie. Like this dog, Kentucky, he means so much to you guys. Kentucky sprinkles Montgomery, baby.
Yes, that's my guy. He definitely made Tommy John go by a little quicker. We did running. We would run. I don't know if you know that Tampa area. You know that high school right across from the International Mall.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's like a baseball field, right?
Yeah, we would run 3 laps around that thing. I think it was like 2.5 miles. We'd do that every day. We do training every Sundays at the Petco. So he's a good boy. We got through it.
Dude, use your right hand, man. And like how much did that make you feel better? I wish dogs could talk, man. I'd love to for him to give an answer too.
I'm telling you, that's what like Elon Musk needs to do with that $1 billion is make a translator for dogs. I don't want to go to Mars. I have to go to talk to my dog.
It had been so awesome that he was there by your side the entire time because Tommy John gets lonely. So whether he was with you doing those laps, keeping you occupied with the training, just having him there, just like as again, like as your best friend, as somebody who's part of the family, emotionally too. I mean, I'm sure there was nights that you were down or you and Mackenzie are sitting on the couch and he's just between you guys and making life better.
Absolutely. I mean, coming home to him, I could be exhausted from being having to go in so early and being done, and like being done as I mean, if I came home and we're alone the rest of the time, you can definitely get lonely and just sad. But coming home to such a ball of happiness and getting to hang out with him and train him and take him on walks and just practice the things we did was a huge blessing. And now I'm his favorite person. He follows me everywhere, and he really only listens to me. So
And I'm sure too, like, so baseball players, you guys are always on a schedule, like to a T, right? So having him, whether it was eating breakfast in the morning or like you said, going for walks or dinner at night, I'd imagine he kind of helped you maintain that schedule or that routine. So even though you weren't at the ballpark or the games at night all the time, I'm sure he kind of helped provide that consistency of having that schedule and routine too.
oh yeah, yeah. We had times where every time, same time, we would go to the park or we would go on a walk or run, or definitely kept me busy and kind of just my mind off of TJ. I mean, you already got to take it day by day because it's such a kind of a long, grueling process. But when you are actually taking it day by day, and then you get home and you're not thinking about it, it's much easier.
So did he make that time go by quicker for you? Because I mean, what was it between 2018 and 2020? I think you had maybe 70 innings pitched or something like that, just
Yeah,
between those three
maybe.
seasons.
2018, I made 6 starts, and then 19, I had 4 innings. I came
Yeah,
back for the last 2 games, 2 innings. So
that's a long road. So to be able to have somebody right by your side, like in addition to McKenzie, but like Kentucky Sprinkles, saying that in a serious tone is kind of funny.
you can't. It's such a good name for him, though. I mean, he's so happy.
For everybody wondering why you named him Kentucky Sprinkles, just share that because there's probably people at home being like, "Man, that's a long name for a dog. That's a fun name. That's so cool."
Yeah, my niece. So my wife is from Kentucky, so we named him Kentucky and call him Tuck for short. And Sprinkles, my niece just was like, I want to name him Sprinkles, so we made it his middle name.
There you go. How much did he miss you once you ended up being back at the ballpark? Because, like you said, you pitched a little bit at the end of 2020, then 2021. Obviously, you had a great year with the Yankees, but was there any sort of like separation anxiety, or did you miss him at all?
Oh, I miss him a ton, but I wouldn't want to leave him alone for like too long when I'm at the field. You're at the field from usually get there around like 2 o'clock, and you don't get home till 12. So I don't want him to be alone that long. And my parents are obsessed with him, so they take him on a 4 mile walk every morning, and he's the celebrity around the neighborhood. Everyone's coming out to see him, and he's spoiled rotten down there.
Outside of just like everything that we know in general, just about Tommy John, like what and the dog, like what was your biggest takeaway out of that entire experience? Because like we were saying before, 70 innings over that span of time, it's not that much doing of what you love. That must have taken a lot out of you emotionally as well. But what was like the biggest thing that you learned out of that entire process?
Really just like persistence, I guess. Like you really got to trust the right people. You got to know everyone kind of like what they're saying is taking it day by day. You can't jump ahead to anything. It's hard to actually do, but it's the right thing during TJ. Is you just got to kind of just dial it in, focus, and 18 months worth of focus. It's draining, but it's a hard, grueling process to come back from. It's a lot of kind of healing, and you just got to take care of yourself during it. I've been fortunate to be healthy, knock on wood, but watching Chad Green come back from he was a groomsman in my wedding. He's one of my best friends. I got to see his first throw and just stuff like that. And it just kind of reminded me of kind of my journey with TJ.
Dude, yeah, that support system is huge, especially when they're your good friends, being in each other's wedding. And there's three things that I think that you define keep swinging in because you said it yourself, the persistence over Tommy John. That's something that you learned, persistence over 18 months, keep swinging, not letting people tell you that you're not good enough to do something. Then the third one being during the maturation years, which was you not letting people label you. So like those three things that you just continue to keep swinging through. And you mentioned the wedding. So 2022, that brings us to this is one of your best years yet. So you're playing for the Yankees, you get traded to the Cardinals, which ended up being a blessing in disguise. And I mentioned it before, you looked like an absolute stud in the baby blue Cardinal jerseys and just mowing down dudes left and right. I was getting pumped. And you get married, but yeah, like, dude, all love right there, man. Yadier Molina giving you a hug when you walk into the clubhouse. What a welcome.
Yachty's the best. Definitely lucky to get to throw to him before he retired. Just what a stud. What a stud to do it as long as he did and just be as good as he was, and just the imprint on catching and all the knowledge he has. Just it was just cool to be a part of Yachty and Albert's last season, and kind of just be around some legends and learn from them. I mean, like I said, I've gotten to be around some awesome people and some legends and be a part of a lot of cool things. I mean, I had CC and a bunch of awesome veterans with the Yankees, and then I kind of just fit right in with the Cardinals, and I've got Wayno and Yachty and Albert to kind of learn from, and it's just it was awesome. And to be a part of Judge's historic season, man, that was awesome to be a part of and to watch the rest of the season. But I mean, obviously, you know firsthand that Judge is the best, and obviously I played with him for a long time, so he's such a great dude.
Dude, yeah, and everybody that you just mentioned, like yourself, all good stand-up dudes who work hard, go about their craft every single day. And yeah, that 2022 year is such a great year for you. Then to top it all off, you end up getting married. So it's like, I mean, you just threw out some Hall of Famers, but talk about like a Hall of Fame year in your life.
Yeah, big year. Big year. It was such a great wedding. It went by so fast. Our wedding planner and her mom did such a great job. It was perfect. I think Kenzie's kind of the way she thought about it, what she wanted it to look like, it was brought to life perfectly, and pretty sure everybody had a great time. So it was a good one.
And I saw you were getting your work in while in Bora Bora. Dude is out on the deck just doing drills.
The life of a baseball player close to spring training. So kind of had planned everything around the wedding and the honeymoon. So I gave myself a little deload week in Bora Bora, but still had to keep the arm moving.
Did you get any golf in? Because we've seen that swing on your Instagram page.
No, but I'm trying to play here in Charleston. One of my buddies is a caddy at Country Club of Charleston and Kiowa sometimes. So he'll get us on every now and then. I'll play with my brothers back home. We play Camden Country Club.
Dude, those are some nice courses to have access to.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say have access to, but some days we'll have access to. He'll text us, "It's a Tuesday, can you get out here?" I'm like, "No, I gotta work out." Like,
I know at the beginning of this, I said that everybody's about to find out that you're a dog. You're one of the nicest people that you could ever meet, and definitely very humble. So I definitely think that everybody got that. But yeah, where can everybody follow you on social media and just follow along your journey?
Gumby Nation 34. I'm pretty sure I only have an Instagram, so follow along. I've been trying to post more. I'm the person that'll just look and never post, but I'm trying to change and do better. So I'm working on it.
Dude, just pump out videos. Do like 7-second Instagram reels left and right, and I promise you will grow. And it could be the baby. I mean, the baby, geez, the dog. Might as well be the baby. Kentucky, yes. There he is. Give you that. It could be the beach. It could be your golf swing. You got the audience, man. I'm sure they want some Jordan Montgomery. And I'm going to say some J-Mo because I know you said Gumby Nation, but J-Mo or Monty, whatever you want to be called.
Yeah.
That's right. I want to point that out because I know that Gumby is a thing of the past. So if you all stuck around and watching this and listen to this, call my guy Monty, all right? Dude, oh, man. Oh, it's going to be awesome, dude. I'm pumped. Yo, my AirPod has been falling out of my ear like the last hour of us recording.
It's been holding on by like literally a hair. I'm like, how is that thing still in there?
I literally just been smiling ear to ear, no pun intended, since we started recording because it's been so much fun. Dude, I appreciate you hopping on. Keep swinging, brother.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And Tuck, a little guest appearance.